Hello there, and welcome to another stream. Let's see if sound is good. Yes, indeed. So, welcome to another UGS stream. Today is your programmer of the team, Kaado streaming, and we shall see, as you may notice on the title of the stream, we are attempting to making some pathfinding today. So yeah, I'm kinda polishing things and trying to make them move. I'm following other tutorials, but now let's move on and start the music before I forgot. I hope the volume is okay or not. I don't, every single stream audio breaks up for some reason. But yeah, we have sound. And now you have Godot. Yes, indeed. So, what are we attempting to do on this 2D platformer Metroidvania wannabe game, We have this character which we control, which is the little Ian, and we are attempting it to make the enemies, which is this one in here, detect Ian, which already does. And when Ian enters this area in here, this thing, it's gonna pathfind, allegedly. Well, we are going to attempt to program it to pathfind to Ian, and then make it move as well. Obviously we have an old prototype which actually works, but because we are implementing the LimboAi plugin for Godot, I need to, make it work. And as well, make it avoid things, which is the reason I have this gap up in here. But things. So, what do we have right now? We have a tile map, which I have already set up the nav mesh area, and for now we have the layer 1, and layer 1 it's basically the empty space. This is the nav, when I say nav mesh is navigation layer, nav mesh is the name in other engines things. So in Godot we have navigation layers, and I have painted the navigation layer in the tile set. You can go to the tile set and paint, you select the property, I have done the navigation layer and the empty spaces, which is awesome. Now, with that configured correctly, I have now started implementing that on our enemy, which is the Noctiwing. And the Noctiwing has now a navigation agent 2D. It is important to have this to make it, do the navigation calculations thingy between our enemy and any target, basically. And for now the target will be the player itself. We can change it later on, but for now it's the player. And yeah, we have this. When there's settings and whatnot, there's path, there's area distance, things to mess around that you need to mess around. I was about to mess around later, but I may do it now. So path, max distance, I will probably make it like 5000 just to make sure. Obviously I'm gonna make it smaller when I optimize it, but for now I just want to make it sure it works, The type of pathfinding, which is A star, which is a pretty awesome algorithm. The fact that this is implemented in engine, it is pretty awesome. Obviously we have to update the engine before, and we have actually updated for other reasons, for tile set reasons that is not related to pathfinding, but It is a bonus because we have updated the engine for a few months, 1 year. I don't remember when we updated it, but we have done it. So we have some new features. I know there's a newer version of Godot, but that's not the point. The point is, we have updated the engine and now we have A-star pathfinding, which is pretty awesome. And that, well, we only have A-star, but that, it is an optimized way to pathfinding, which is pretty cool, and I like it. And it is awesome that is in engine already. It's I think it's been a little more than a year or so. I don't remember really, so well, I can know actually. If I go to the folder and see when the new version was extracted, the new version of Godot, I can actually know. So let me check it just to make sure. So UGS, Droian, things, there you go. And it wasn't a year. It was on August. Yes, 15 of August 24. It's when we have updated for the new version. So it wasn't been a year. Almost a year though. We are like 3 months and a half from when we have updated the engine. Well, that doesn't matter. I'm just mumbling around. Basically, we have updated the engine and now we have the pathfinding, which is awesome. That was when we... No, that wasn't when we came from Unity. That was when we have updated the Godot version we are using on this project. The Unity version was way before. It was way longer. Yeah, I remember we have updated to this version for some tileset layers or something of the sort. Yes, there was a new version of tileset that was way better than the one before, and we decided to update it for that reason, to make tileset easier and stuff like that. Yeah, we have the man, the myth, the legend in the chat, Pixel John. He is the one responsible to, draw the levels and whatnot. And he is the one working on the tileset system at the moment. He may know about that more than I do, but yeah. That was the reason that we have updated the engine, and the pretty cool thing that we have done that, it's, it enables us to have, cool stuff like pathfinding in engine, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, I believe that was present in the game before, but there's new cool stuff that we haven't had before. So yeah, so basically we have this, and you have one thing that I'm pretty sure we didn't have because I have problems with that, with the enemy prototype that we had before, which is basically avoidance. Yes. So that problem that we had on the enemy stupidly walking on a closed door, you know that? Maybe. I'm already put that on quotes with the maybe, because maybe we can use that to make the enemy actually know there is a closed door and go into an alternative place, like, if I put a door in here and set up to avoid, being an object to be avoid. If our enemy calculates a pathfinding and it notices it is closed, it has an object to avoid. Maybe it goes, instead of being like this, it goes from the top. Or at least it's the plan that I'm attempting to do, Progress in works, basically. So yeah. I think you did have something, but the tile map layers help make it easier to isolate. yeah. It's tough. It's tough. So I was working on this enemy thing with the LimboAi thing, and yeah, I have removed the follow and the look at and whatnot because I'm, you know, attempting to make a behavior tree action when the player is detected to pathfind to target. Yeah, I have created a new action for our LimboAi thingy, and yeah, I was attempting to do stuff even though I had some difficulties, you know, and I was following a tutorial which is having difficulties on doing that as well because I could basically copy pasta this and make it work, but you know, I like to do things myself and waste time doing so, you know. So we are going to make the proper thing and actually learn first how that person did, you know, and then attempting to make the code our own and adapt it to our game, you know. So I was just hydrating myself. And yeah, let's see. So basically, if for those of you at home that want to follow the tutorial, this is a tutorial by Kazraf. You can go to kazraf.dev. I believe it is a blog where he posts stuff, and he has this tutorial in there, a written tutorial, which is, by the way, my favorite way of doing things when it comes to tutorials. Even though YouTube tutorials are pretty awesome in video, the thing is, you need to follow the pace of the video. And in written form, it's way easier to go back and forth and doing on your own speed and whatnot. So, and it's basically the way I used to teach before, because when I was a teacher, I basically will do PDFs of written tutorials and then follow them on class, you know. So there's that as well. Sometimes I hear that phone interference. Oh, it's maybe because the phone was close to the microphone cable. Yeah, I have changed some stuff around my setup because it was really dusty and I was cleaning my bedroom this week, you know. So I have changed things around and I guess I need to change things again. So yeah, my phone is now in another place, so hopefully it doesn't interfere with that anymore. So yeah. So let's see. I have give credits to the tutorial man. I'm not gonna show the tutorial on stream. I'm just gonna do you know, attempting to follow it and adapting it to our project. And maybe it's useful to us or not. Yeah, because the thing that I have done before, you know, because I had a thing. I can show you. Let's show you. So I have an enemy that pathfinds and follows the player and whatnot. But yeah, that it was on a basis, you know. Come on, keep following me. So you know, it's kinda working and I could use it. And it even has the on-site thingy and whatnot. But you know, adapting it to LimboAi is making a lot of work, and there's the avoiding thing that it wasn't, you know, working and whatnot. So basically, this is a lot of code, and most of it I don't remember what I did before because I haven't commented. And yeah, well, I know what is in here. I can analyze it. I know exactly what's happening in here. I know what happens in here, but it is a lot of work also to adapt and whatnot, so... Yeah, and I will need to learn to do the avoiding thing anyway. Why not comment, my friend? Because I'm lazy, you know? I know it is good practice and I should comment, especially because I was a teacher before, I should lead by example, but I'm more of a kind that says, do as I say, not as I do. Kinda. And obviously I'm not, you know... Yes, join the dark side of bad practice. I usually do and regret because I waste time doing so. But yeah, there you go. It is a thing. So let me just close this thing because we are not gonna use this code for now. And I may not use this code as well. The BT action. I may not use this for now. Yeah, I'm gonna do exactly the tutorial and then I'm going to actually make the to port. Basically, I'm going to learn how the guy did it on his tutorial just to stop wasting time, you know. Because I have attempted to port my code to here, I have attempted to follow tutorial at the same time porting the code to the LimboAi thingy, and sometimes I got bored, sometimes I start playing video games or watching YouTube videos, and you know, let's just learn how the thing is first, you know. So, we have our enemy, the Noctiwing. This is the guy that we are messing around. We can see it on our test level. And I'm going to actually implement a script directly on him. New script. Which we're gonna call it... it can be Noctiwing script. Why not? It's gonna be deleted later anyway. And yeah, we have our character body 2D script for our enemy, which has speed, jump. It's not gonna jump, it's gonna fly. So it doesn't need that. And does it have gravity? It does not, because flies. And it doesn't have input because it is an enemy. So yeah. And direction. There's the speed on the x-axis. It will need to be updated to have also on the y-axis and whatnot. So for now we need this. An empty character body 2D. Excellent. Now let's just follow tutorial and see the thing. So it requires that we have the tile map, which is already set up, so that's fine. Don't things that fly have gravity but less of it, so they just don't float around? No. This is different. So in this game, the things that fly actually are constantly flying. Let's not make things harder for us, you know? So, for example, this is an enemy that flies. So he basically gonna be constantly flying around, you see? Only when it dies, it's gonna apply a gravity thing, and I'm going to put its carcass on the ground, or make it explode in blood and disappear, if it's easier, depending on the animations I have available and where the, you know, the design for that enemy is. But yeah, the things that fly are basically going to move around without restrictions. It's basic. Most of the games do that, you know. Well, 3D games to make things flying, actually, it is the base. It is basically the same thing, unless it's rockets. But that's another thing. So usually in video games, things that fly usually don't have the gravity modifier applied to them. So yeah, that's why this enemy for now doesn't have gravity. I will do, however, other enemies like the spider and every other enemy that doesn't fly. It will have a different nav mesh, so it will not be able to navigate to other places in the air, but it will have the navigation like, you know, glued to the walls, for example, on the ground. If it is the case of the spider, if it is the case of, you know, a ground type like the Mukau enemy thingy, it will only be on the ground. So yeah, I will need to create those navigation layers in the future, you know, future CAD work. But for now we have the Noctiwing. He's a flying boy, he has freedom to move on the y-axis, x-axis and in between. So he's free to move wherever it pleases. Because the excuse is it's the enemy that flies, so it can fly around. He can go wherever place he wants. He's an independent enemy that do whatever he wants, you know? For now. So, I have implemented the tile map layer, which is visible, you know. There's this blue thing that I have permanently enabled the visibility of it, you know, with this thing. It is just for me to visually see where the enemy can walk or fly. And our enemy also is set up to have the navigation agent. So that's that. So most of these I have already done, and now we can start implementing the pathfinding, which is the learning script for now. Let's open the script. Wait a second, script empty. Oh, I have made the script in here. Let's not do that. Let's do it in here, please. There's quick load. I'm gonna just load it the usual way. So characters, enemies, Noctiwing, there you go. Now we have our script on our enemy, we can start scripting. So the first thing that we need, that tutorial says we need, we have a speed already, so that's fine. And I will make it the same as the tutorial, so 50 can be whatever we need for the speed of our enemy. And this, by the way, is going to be changed later on the LimboAi. We have the speed variable that we can change on our behavior tree. You know, can set speed velocity in here, which is pretty awesome. This is just a prototype thing. And we need to get the navigation and the player thing. So let me just do that. So I need on ready. And you know, var and nav. This is our variable that's going to basically be our navigation agent 2D. And this is basically gonna be a variable where we are going to store the navigation agent of our enemy. And to do that, we can directly, you know, implement that. So there you go. And yeah. And basically it's on red, you know. You can see what it does, which is pretty cool. When the object is initiated, it will run that, which is awesome. It's a quicker way than having to make the putting things on the ready and whatnot. So yeah, pretty awesome. More. I need to get the player. Sure. On ready var player. Not in caps lock. There's unnecessary. And this can be a character body 2D. And now I have a thing to get the player, which is game dot get singleton dot player. I think it is. Yeah. Singletons. Pretty awesome. Quick way to get our player. Iterate. Yes, indeed. Iteration is good. Thank you for the reminder. And the posture check as well. Weirdly, I don't get the sounds for those alerts. I don't know if it is something about the OBS or whatnot. It doesn't matter. It's more a stream thing and not, you know, something. Well, actually, because the sound for the stream things aren't firing on my OBS, I'm going to enter our Discord private channel. So if you have something like that I need to pay attention to chat or whatever, you can really quickly, you know, join the chat and tell me, you know, if the house is on fire and I think everything's fine but nothing is fine, you know. So yeah. And if you want to just say something on stream, you are more than welcome to do so. The mods, by the way, this is just something for the UGS developers. But if you want to say hi to us, you can join our Discord channel as well, you know, and link in the description. We like our community and we are always saying stuff, random stuff, funny stuff. We have memes and, you know, things going on. But yeah, let's continue the thing. So I need the function. And by the way, I could basically do a copy paste, but I'm not doing so for a reason. You know, when we were younger, I am from a generation that when we were in class we didn't have computers. But, well, because I'm Portuguese, I'm pretty sure people at my age in richer countries have computers in school. I have one single computer in school and it was on DOS or some bullshit like that. And we didn't use it. But yeah, newer kids probably can use laptops and whatnot, and easier thing to do will basically go to the tutorial, and if you have the code, it will basically do copy paste. But the thing is, when someone is learning, if we are taking notes and doing things ourselves, we learn it way faster, and when we are actually learning, if we write it ourselves, it actually sticks to the brain. So there's a quick tip. If you are learning on your own and we actually want to understand and memorize the thing, it is actually a good thing to write it yourself and not copy paste as well, you know. There's a tip for you. Why did I pin a message? No. How do we unpin? There you go. Thank you. I was just checking if there's something in chat and I misclick a comment. So yeah, let's keep going. So ready void, what we are going to do? Actor. Where did that actor setup came from? It is a later function. So there you go. Because you copy pasta, you will probably not knowing where that function came from, but I'm actually going to do it. So there is a function, and this function will be basically to wait for the physics engine to kick in and to make the navigation thing work after the physics process being initially set up, you know? Just to make sure everything is set up correctly in order and to avoid bugs, basically. Or at least that's what I think it is the purpose of this, for the guy to make to have made this way. So function actor setup, and so in this I'm going to await for the get tree, there you go, and physics frame, there you go. So now that we have waited for the physics frame and the navigation server thingy have synchronized and become, bugs avoidance things and whatnot, we can now have the, movement and stuff. So now that navigation map is no longer empty, set movement target. So there you go. Movement target will be our player position. So set movement. So this is another function. Why did you need a function just for that? Fine, I'm gonna do exactly like the tutorial is saying. I was tempted to just put everything in this function and call it a day because, it's easier, but let's do the right thing, Create another function and set movement target. That's actually useful to have this in the separate function, but things. And then in this function we are going to do the movement target will be a vector 2 for the X and Y position, of course. And now we can get to our navigation, which is our navigation agent 2D. And what we are going to tell him, we are going to tell him that the target position is the position we have given in this function, the set movement target, which is going to be the movement target itself. There you go. Now we can go on the actor setup and actually set up it to be the player. So we just call the function set movement target, and now we can call it the player, which we have already set up on the top, and just call it the position. And because the position is vector 2, because we are on a 2D project, we only have X and Y, it will apply it correctly, which is, yeah, that. So there is our actor setup. So we have set up the thing, applied the thing, done the thing. We can finally call it on the ready function. So let's just call it the actor setup to set up the entire thing. And I'm actually going to do this, which is the call deferred. And this is basically to, make this, basically. Where is it? Where is it? What deferred does in here? Okay. Cool. I like this. I'm gonna use this more, if need be. So nav velocity computed and connect. Why we are doing this? I need to understand what this does. Velocity computed. I don't have this. Okay, this is just, I have written this and this is a copy paste. And to make sure I haven't made any mistake, I'm actually going to make sure I have done a copy paste. Now it's still doing a thing that I haven't understand from this tutorial, which is the velocity computed. Sir, your tutorial doesn't say that I need to create this variable, and I'm not finding it anywhere. So what the heck is this, my friend? So I have just found something I'm not liking in this tutorial already, so yeah. So first thing, let me see what the thing this says in here. So the navigation, the velocity computed, safe velocity, notifies when the collision avoidance velocity. Ooh, it's avoiding, it's avoidance things, okay. Okay, now let's enable the avoidance thing, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna do magic, and that magic probably gonna make this a cool thing. So this is the... okay, now connect velocity compute. This is the signal, okay. Let us comment this for now. Even though it is on the tutorial, it's giving errors and I don't like it. So it's, for now, it's gonna still, it's probably gonna be used later. It exists for some reason, and when that reason comes around, we will find out. So yeah, let's progress on this tutorial. So he's explaining the thing, so call the call deferred thing, which is basically wait for the next frame before it's invoked, just to set up things around. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm probably gonna use this in the future if need be, because this is cool and I like it. It basically avoids bugs, which is awesome. And we connect the velocity computed signal so we can get the nav node's velocity for avoidance. Sir, I don't have this signal. What you talking about? I'm using the same version of Godot for this tutorial. It's the 4.3. I can go there and show you. You know, it is the 4.3 stable, and the tutorial says it's for 4.3. The velocity computed should be something that it isn't. Marketing girl is googling. Yeah, don't worry, it's probably some specific thing for the tutorial, and when it comes around we shall see it. But for now, yeah, it's basically for the avoidance thing. Let's just see when we get to it if we are going to have problems or not. But yeah. The actor setup function also does a couple of things. Yes, 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 I know, I have done them and I have understand them. Now he's explaining the avoidance thing, which is pretty cool. And I really like it. If it was something that I could make it work, you know? Yeah, implementing the movement logic. So now it's going to the part of this tutorial that it's going to do the movement things. And there's the velocity compute. Oh, there you go, I have found it. Don't worry, it is code for later on. Excellent. I love when tutorials are done like this and not cleaned up. Ah, that's why you need to pay attention and actually do your own tutorial first before you release. Yep, that's a common mistake of not cleaning up the thing. So, this thing that you were worrying about, it's gonna come later. So don't worry, chat. Just trust the process, alright? So let's keep going. Implementing the movement logic. Great. So we are going to start with another function. Yes, we have the physics process. Yes, it's there and we are going to probably use it, but for now it's gonna stay there. And let me see. Actually no. Actually it's in the right place. So we have the set movement target, we have the physics process, and we have the new function, which is the function that we are going to set up the movement of our characters. So move towards player. There's something that's confusing me, which is this thing in here, which I don't like. Something about Godot GD, you know, the... my memory is failing. The GD code, how it's named. The programming language of the Godot, you know? When we are coding, when we use the underscore thing, it's basically GD script. There you go. My brain is, you know, thinking of trying to process, you know? Yes, yes indeed. So, when we use the underscore, my brain associates it as a native script. That it's a native function from the native extensions from the nodes, you see? Because character body has stuff to do, we can use the native functions to, you know, to do the ready thing, to ready the character to do stuff, and the process thing to process stuff, and the physics to process physics stuff. It is native functions, you know? And we are just modifying them. When I don't use the underscore, it's a native function from this specific script. Now, the tutorial I'm following has named this function with a thing, but this isn't a native. Basically, this underscore, I don't like it in here, I'm not gonna have it in there. Done. And you can tell me to do otherwise, even though the tutorial has put an underscore and I'm not liking the underscore for now. If it's useful later, I'm gonna use it. For now, it is not. So, the move towards player. You have made it update the player position, that is useful, so set movement player. In this case it's movement target, and we are going to say the new position of our player. So that's why he has set up this in a different function. I see. Now, if we ever arrive at the target, then we should stop the thing. So let's do the same thing that the tutorial is telling us to do. Is navigation finished? If it's so, then we are going to return. Good. Now, more things. Get pathfinding information. That's a cool thing. Now we are going to create a variable which is going to get the current agent position. It is a vector too, and it's equals to I understand why you are doing the naming thing, but come on, you could just call the global position when we will later on call this thing, but that's okay. It's part of the tutorial, which is fine. So var next path position. Now the next path position is gonna be as well a vector 2, and this is specifically from the nav thing, and I want to get the next path position. So basically, when the navigation, I know more or so how the navigation works on the Godot engine. So basically, when this thing in here goes with the the navigation agent and do the A star pathfinding algorithm and whatnot, it's going to basically do for dots, which is positions. And this is basically gonna go around and it's going to go where? Where is the thing? So the player is in here and I'm in here. So I'm gonna try to go there. Okay, a dot in here. There is a wall? There is. So I'm gonna try and go up. And then go up, side, wall. Again, another dot. Wall. There's a wall. Another dot. There's not a wall. Okay, let's continue. There's a wall in here, so let's go down. There's a wall, go down. And go on so forth. And get a lot of coordinates. Now you can set up the distance for the coordinates on that array to be stored and whatnot. Probably, I hope. It's probably be around in these configurations and whatnot, but it's basically that. And we are getting the next dot that our enemy should go, and so it's going to calculate the path and then go dot from dot from dot in that path until it arrives at the final thing, which is the final next path position, which is the last one. And when it gets on the last one, the navigation has finished and return. And it doesn't do more of this thing. So yeah, basically like that. Now, in here, we are going to calculate the velocity. Okay. Var new velocity. There's a thing that annoys me about the velocity thing on Godot itself, which is in Godot we have something in the character body 2D, which is the velocity, and when we apply values to the velocity and we do the move and slide, we are going to basically move in the direction of the velocity axis values. So basically, when we call the velocity on our character body 2D, we are basically telling it what direction it should move. Yeah. So the velocity is basically the direction plus the actual velocity, which is the speed. So we basically, velocity is a vector 2D or 3D if you are in a 3D environment, that basically applies the values of the speed in which the direction you go. So yeah, there's that. Even though, yeah, velocity is fine. My brain was actually associated with the direction itself, but yeah, maybe because we actually do the direction inside in here and we don't have the direction itself, which will probably be the better thing to do, which means instead of us doing the calculations of the velocity and whatnot You know, this velocity probably should be called direction, and velocity should be something native and not something that we calculate ourselves. But that's how other engines work, like, you know, Unreal, and we are on Godot, and Godot has its own ways of working, which is, you know, fine. So yeah, current agent position, and I wanted direction, which is the next path thing, which is basically this thing. And now we have the direction, you know, and now we apply the speed to that direction. Yep. That's how you do it. Now we have our velocity, we can now make it move in that direction. Speed. Yes, indeed. I am speed. There you go, a reference for you, for those who know. And let me see. Set correct velocity. So if we have our nav avoidance enable, and if we have our nav, if we on our navigation we have avoidance enable, then we need to do the thing on the nav, set velocity. It's not forced, it's just set velocity, and it's going to be the new velocity. If we don't have this enable, then else it's going to just be the velocity. Oh, it's that thing again. So let's just create the actual function so we get that done and out of the way, because I'm starting to get tired of calling things that haven't been created before. So function. We are going to create the function called velocity computed and this function is going to get a save velocity, and this is a vector 2. There you go. Now in this function, our actual velocity, it will be equals to the save velocity. Why do we need to have safe velocities and whatnot? Probably to avoid bugs. I don't know. I'm still following the tutorial, and maybe I will understand later why this exists, or maybe not. We shall see. But for now, I have made this thing. So when we make the velocity thing, it will apply a velocity to our actual velocity, to then we call the physics process to move and slide in the actual direction, you know? And so now we can get this in here, because we actually have the function. See? And it's not getting errors. Excellent. Now I can continue. Now in the else thing, I can call the function, so velocity, and we just sum there the new velocity thing, probably. There you go. And that's probably it. Yeah. And then the move and slide. There you go. Now, the tutorial had the function with move towards player. Okay, okay. In the previous part of the tutorial, he has called the function that wasn't created yet, which is basically in the physics process, instead of doing the move and slide inside the physics process, is moving the move and slide inside the move towards player. But this function needs to be called, and we are going to do it in here, in the physics process. Now it's, you know, things are coming together. Okay. The comments should help you understand what we do on each action. So we just basically got tired of explaining things of what they do and just go with the comments. Which is fine. But just calling this set correct velocity doesn't explain why we need to have this in here. But that's fine. I can do this. And let's see. Sets the new wanted velocity for the agent. The avoidance simulation will try to fulfill this velocity if possible, but will modify it to avoid collision with other agents and obstacles. Okay, now I understand why that exists. So, love the sass for the tutorial. I need to be sassy, you know? It's not my tutorial, so I need to be sassy. And I need to, you know, be a real critic. And let's be honest, I'm being an asshole. It is what it is, you know? But yeah, I'm learning. And I am doing stuff that I usually do when I'm learning. And if all the information is not at the front of what I'm learning and it's not explained in detail, like I'm a donkey, you know, then I don't think it's done the right way. And, you know, I need to be sassy for that. It's just the way I usually... Well, it's the way I believe learning should be, you know? To be inclusive, to even a donkey could understand it, you know? And if the information is not in front on why the things are done the way they are done, then I believe it's something missing. And because something was missing, you know, the reason this was in here and why this was in here, and you know, I have searched for the information. Yeah. And let's be honest, the guy that did the tutorial, it's probably a cool guy and he knows what he's doing and he has made a good job, probably. I couldn't, you know, give actually a good score for the tutorial that because I haven't finished it. It could be an excellent tutorial. So let's try and keep going and see for ourselves, you know? Which is the good thing to do. Yes. So let's see. I have updated the thing, so that's that. And now the comments should help. Now I have... Yes, I have read that before. So, do you know the problem that I was saying about not explaining the things? I actually have read this thing. The comments should... Let's... In quotes. That's the thing that is in the... Let's ban this thing. And yeah. There you go. Now, where was we? So, yes, in the tutorial, there's the comment, and in quotes, the comments should help you understand what we do on each section, but I want to explain a bit more about the avoidance lines. See? The guy actually explained it, but because I was lazy and the information wasn't exactly in front of me, instead of continuing the tutorial, I was in search for the information. So yeah. There's that. Sometimes a person just needs to be patient and keep going forward. So he is explaining this, the if navigation avoidance enable, which was basically the thing that I was checking around. So if the navigation avoidance is enabled, which we are talking about this section of the code, we don't directly set the velocity of the actor, we instead pass the calculated velocity to the nav agent itself. The agent will use it to handle the next calculations in order to avoid the other navigation agents, and then report back when it has a new safer path. That's pretty cool. Basically, we have our velocity and we check if the enemy is moving in the way on our navigation path, and if it has some thing in the to avoid, it will have a new velocity, and that's why we have all these velocity things instead of applying the direction directly from the next path position multiplied by speed. Yeah. So there's that. Cool. I'm starting to like it more, even though that information should be done before and not after we have given us the code. But that's just a personal preference. I always like to explain things and then do the things that... Well, I like to explain what I'm going to do and why I'm going to do it, and then show exactly what I have done. And not just show first what I have done and then explain it later. There's a reason for that, by the way. Because if we show how you have done it and then explain later, students will basically copy what you do and then tune out, and that moment when a teacher is like and the explanation doesn't get to the brain. So I like to explain first and then do after, because at least the student has to pay attention to what you are saying to actually make sure and to understand what he's going to do, So it's easier for memory retention for a teacher to explain things first and then do later than the other way around. Even though, yes, the same thing that I have said, it could be the same thing, so you could be basically listening to the teacher first and then copy what he does later. There's students that actually do that, but it's easier to explain what you are going to do, why you are going to do it, and then do it, At least that's the way I like to order things. Now, test our setup. This setup should work for the initial test. Just run the game and see if it works. Okay. Let's see. Well, well, well. Why you doing this? Don't worry, it didn't show anything. I haven't clicked the delete comment thingy. It was restricted automatically. Don't worry. I believe it didn't show it even on the chat. So don't worry about that. Now this though, this error thing though. Why are you doing this? So detection area, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I know what that happened. I need to go to test 1 and then run in here. Because I was running the scene on Noctiwing and because there isn't a player, well, I guess that wasn't the problem then. Forget! Forget what I just say. Because I clearly didn't know what I was saying. It is in a base. Now it should work, hopefully. Thank you. And I shall also disable this. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen. And everyone in between. I guess we have a navigation working. And before we say something, yes, I know the flipping for the sprite isn't set up yet, it is. It is alright, you know, it is supposed to be like that. Don't worry. It is actually supposed to be like that. So, good. The guy is following us, like the tutorial said and explained and as it should be. Yes, great. Now, let's continue. Now, it is explaining how it's testing the thing. So let's see. The setup should work for the initial test. Just run the game and see if it works. To make it more visual, you can go to the navigation agent of the enemy. Yes, because I have just seen something in the tutorial pretty cool, and I actually want that. And on the navigation agent, there's the debug property. Yes. And which will show us the path the enemy is trying to follow. Check visible thing. Enable. Path custom color. Let's see if it is red like... Not the Noctiwing, come on. Stop it. The base. There you go. There we go. Excellent. Well, you may not see on stream because I have that thing activated. Let me just go to the test, and disable the nav mesh thingy. So let me just go to the default and maybe not the play. Come on. Go to the base. This thing. This thing. There you go. See the actual dots that I have spoken about before? These little dots? So yeah, this is the pathfinding, and this is actually pretty awesome. I love this thing. Just for you to know what's happening, I have made my own implementation of this line for the other, my previous prototype enemy, you know. And basically I have discovered that the navigation agent has its own debug line thingies. And this is awesome. And I like it. Which is pretty cool. And we can see it updating its path at real time, which is awesome. I'm liking this. Now, to the avoidance thingy. Obstacles. So some tiles, blah blah blah. Now in these tutorial. He is criticizing Godot in the way it does things, which is fine. The tutorial creator can be sassy as well, which I appreciate it. So preparing the tile set. But he's doing things on the tile set. Let's get the door. And instead of actually seeing that from the tile set, I'm going to attempt to do it from the door and see how it goes. Because it basically has another tile set for rocks and trees and whatnot, and I don't have that on our game. Because we don't do tile sets for objects, we actually have every individual object in its own sprite. So yeah, I need to improvise following this tutorial anyway. So the thing that I didn't want to do, which is adapt the tutorial for our project, I actually need to adapt the tutorial for our project, which is fine. So let's go to the interactable doors. Oh, there's this thing. Why the door doesn't door correctly? Where's the Z thing? So let me see, where are you? So transform, it's not in there. I don't remember very well. There you go. There's the Z index. Yeah, that's what I thought. The thing isn't set up yet to work correctly. That's a shame. But that's fine for now. Alright, alright. I'm gonna leave it with the black square. This is just for, you know, learning experience. So basically the problem is we have created this door, and this door has this black box to hide the door behind it. And yes, I know there's ways to make the sprite go invisible by the coordinates and whatnot, and there's a lot of ways to do the thing. I just went with the easier way, and I was supposed to actually check the new tile sets and have different coordinates on the Z index for the white thingies and the black thingies. And well, let's see what we can do. Alright, we have the tile set. And we have something called rendering Z index. Yes. But the problem is, as you can see, there's the 0 in here, which is fine. The thing is, I would love to draw an area and separate these two. Is this possible though? Can I guess I can't. So what I wanted for the layers was basically this menu. I wanted this menu, which can customize areas, And these areas basically put on the Z index, you know, and made it work. That's what I was hoping for. But unfortunately, it is not working as intended, so yeah. Well, the thing that I wanted to do isn't available yet. Maybe newer versions of Godot has this, maybe not, I don't know. It's something to ever mind to fix this problem. Maybe I could just adapt and do it a different way, like making this sprite disappear, but yeah. That's a future Kaado problem, basically. So for now, you have to content with this black thing. Now, what do I need? I need to go to the tile set, which is our sprite. Interactable is fine. I just want the thing. There's navigation obstacle. So this is code from the previous attempt. I'm going to delete it because we are going to do the new things. Now there's a door, animated sprite, and whatnot. I'm going to make sure and analyze the code because I want to make sure I'm moving the animated sprite thing. So on interactable area detected can open move door, and the move door code create twin, it wins the exactly this thing. Okay, I like it. And in this animated sprite thing, can I do the thing that he is doing? Physics layer. Can I have physics layers in here? I guess I can't. This might be a problem though. I have a static body 2D. This is basically a child. It could possibly do the thing. Physics material override. There's collisions. Let's do this thing. There you go. We have one. New default things. This won't help either. To do the same thing as the tutorial, and the sprite doesn't have it either. That might be a problem though. Let me see how he implements the thing in there. And you know what? I may attempt to do something different. Let me see. In this tile set, if I use another thing like this, let me see what I have. Just for testing. We have this thing in here, so let's do it with this. So I have the physics layer. In the preparing the tile set for navigation layer, I'm going to add in our tile set, which is the map layer. I'm going to the physics layer. I have the first collision, and this asks me to add another. I don't think we need two of them, but that's fine. Physics 0, so yes indeed, we don't need two. So I'm going to go to the tilet set. Okay, I'm going to use this alien lab thing. And I'm going to the alien lab thing. The red one, because I want the red. And I'm going to the physics layer. So this is the workaround that he has done. I see. So I can't use the same thing. So I'm gonna use another. Physics layer, terrains, the navigation, I'm gonna leave it like that. And I'm gonna not mess around with this in here. You know, just to make sure. Let's see if he pathfinds, you know. Not this way. Base, Sid. It's faster this way, believe me. Why did game poop at itself? Base, placing. Why do game poop at itself when I touch the ground? So let's save it, play the thing. I haven't messed around with the enemy, so why was he... Oh, I know what's happening. Can I get back my physics layer? Thank you. Probably was this, right? Was this the problem? Yes, yes it was. Alright. We are back in the game. Now, we are going to the door. In this door, I'm going to add a tile set. This one, because this is the one that he was talking about. And in this thing, it can be a child of the animated thing, doesn't matter. In this thing, I want to load our quick load. Can you find it? Yes, you can. Excellent. Thank you. And now in this one, I need to go there. I need to make sure it has a physics thing. Wait a second. It has the physics thing. And now I can go to the paint section on the alien lab foreground. Set. I select my physics layer and I want the top one. And there you go. Let's just yeah, trust it is behind this thing, you know, because if I put this outside, where is it? I haven't painted it yet, that's why. So let me just go to here, get the alien thing. Oh, that might be a problem. Okay. What I'm saying about the problem is this thing. We have multiple of full block things. So I'm in every multiple full block things I'm gonna paint it. And that's gonna be fine. Yeah. Something like that. So we are sure the physics thing is in here and everything's fine. Now I don't like the fact that the door isn't centered with the blocks. So I'm actually going to do the right thing, which is basically not the right thing at all. But yeah. Come on, man. I want to delete this too. This one and this goes away. Thank you. Alright, now these ones. There you go. I notice others that don't have the thing. Alright, you won. All of them. All of them are on the thing. There you go. Are you happy now? Thank you. Jeez. This is our new door. Allegedly. Just for test, don't worry. Now, I have the things and stuff and whatnot, so there you go. To your ground layer, attach a new script, call it whatever you like it. So in our ground layer, which is this one, let's put our door in here. And in here I want a new script, which is called Navigation tile layer. I want it in a place where I can easily know where it is and I can delete that if needs be. You can go to the tileset folder. Yeah, I don't have a script folder because I store everything from every object in its respective folder. For example, if I have an enemy name, I have a character, enemies, you know, and the enemy has everything in there. See? Yeah. So, what do you want for this? So, in this, now in the tutorial do the thing that I like it to do. It's explaining the things first. Great. So basically we are going to get information from that thing, which is the layers from this thing. The one that contains the obstacles, yes. And we need to tell the navigation system that any tiles with collision should be removed from the nav area. And in order to do that, we'll write a little bit of code. Great. So we'll need to put all of them in the same group and then get nodes in group. Find any siblings node with the tile map layer type. Okay, to make it super simple, I think we'll go with the first option. Okay. So we need to get them in a group, which is there, that's fine. And we go to the groups and we click on a plus and we name it what? Obstacles. This is not an obstacle though. Now what we need to do is go to the door, the tile thing on the door, and global groups. When I created that group I didn't make it global though. I didn't. Now I did. Enemies should also be global, thank you very much. And I hope this, well, let's just keep it on the assassin group, just make sure it doesn't break any other code for now. So there you go. Now if I go in the door and I click my tile thing, I now have the obstacles. Great. Now what do I need to do? And basically the thing that's assassin or global isn't the same in the tutorial, I'm just adapting it to my project. Because in the tutorial is doing basically every single thing in the same scene, and I don't want to do that because my door is a different scene from my level. So yeah. So let's see what the script should have. So in the script, that navigation tile script thing, we extend the tile map layer, yes. Now we have a var, and again is using the finger, so let's not have it. Obstacles, and we are going to have an array, and this array will be tile map layer. Okay, and it's going to be empty. Now function ready. What do you want in the function ready? You want a function that I haven't created, so let's create the function. So get obstacles, obstacle layers. So in here we'll make sure the name is correct. Yes, we are going to make sure that. So var layers will go to the tree, so get tree, and the tree basically is the top node of our scene. So if we are running the game, the tree will be the top node of everything. It will be the root basically. And get nodes in group, and now the group needs to have exactly the same name, and this is the only case I actually recommend to make copy pasta, because you know, to make sure the name is exactly the thing that you have written before. Now for layer in layers. Now if layer is not tile map layer, continue, and obstacles dot append, and we are going to get the layer. I think that is the thing. We can now call the function ready, and call the get obstacles layers. So get obstacle layers. Okay, now next. So use tile data runtime update function. So we are going to create the function. Alright. The consistency, my friend. Please. Use tile. Wait, use tile data runtime function. No, runtime update is actually a thing. Alright, fine. Return is used by obstacle. And there's coordinates. Now obviously it's making an error because I need to create the function. So is used by obstacles. And this function gets coordinates. Okay, cards is a vector. Vector to I. Why is an I? I understand why now. And now I like the vector 2i. Great. Now what do I need? It needs to get the thing to bool. And more for layer in obstacles. And now if cards in layer get I'm getting worried about one thing, but don't worry. Var is obstacle so get cell tile data, this one, and our chords, that's fine. And now get collision polygons, let me make this bigger, count to 0, and let's make it above 0. And then we have a boolean in here to check if it's obstacle or not. And if it's true, so is obstacle true, then we return true. Otherwise, if it goes to all the layers and doesn't find anything, return false. There basically doesn't have obstacles. Alright, now. So, iterate over every layer in obstacles. For each layer, check if coordinates correspond to the cell. If there is a cell in that layer on those coordinates, check if it is an obstacle. Yes, I don't understand that. Great. An efficient way to attach the information on the tile map layer into the navigation area. We don't need any custom data layer or any additional setup for the tiles other than the collision, which we could want anyway, so our player would be blocked. Now for the last piece of the puzzle, we just need to actually set the navigation polygon on the tile to accommodate the walkable state of the tile. So let's just check that. So function, is this something? tile data runtime update. Which gets the thing, alright. And now we can get if not, it's the inverse, and we call the is used by obstacle. Then tile data, and then set the thing, set navigation polygon. Zero null. Alright. That's just in case, because this will call the thing, it will do the thing, and if it returns false, it will just say 0 and just use the normal thing without obstacles, which is great. But because it's gonna have obstacles, it's going to update the things. Alright. Let's see. What do you want? Oh, I have missed the thing. Okay, okay. I understand. You are mad. I understand. Good. Now it's test time. Let's see if I have done anything. Now, if you remember, I have talked about a problem. Yes, indeed. We might have a problem because I'm not sure if this is going to, you know, update. You know, it's doing it on the ready thing and not doing it on the update thing. And our door moves. So basically what I'm going to actually see, it's going in here. Now we have our door, right? If we hide the door, we have our little map. Now what we want is go to the tile map layer and go to the inspector and go to the thing that will show the map in its entirety. Right. Now we have our door. If I hide the door, as you can see, the blue squares, it says the enemy can go through here. Right? But if I enable the door, then the path is closed. It should get these squares in here and disable the movement from here, and we shall see the enemy go through the top and not from the bottom. So let's see if this actually happens. It is not. My friend, maybe it's a problem for, you know, future Kaado to deal with, because we are approaching the dinner time and yeah, I can't be dealing with bugs forever. But yeah, how did he get under there? Ah, that was easier. Basically the door has colliders and it moves. And because the enemy was exactly where the door was about to close, the collisions from the door pushed the enemy through the wall, because the collisions of the wall are slim, and the update from the collisions didn't throw the enemy to the sides, it basically pushed him out of the map. So we can get to the enemy, and that may become a problem because it already has the circle shaped collision, so it should be pushed to the side. Yes, that this may become a problem in the future. Bugs that basically can make you push enemies out of the map, or even the player itself, because if you remember, we have doors that are time based. So basically, we could have a mechanic. Well, it is a bug where the player just activates a pressure plate, gets on the door, and the door crashes and pushes the player out of the map. I could basically make it when the door is moving, and if the player is below the door, it basically kills the player. But that's, bug fixing avoidance thingies. So yeah, bugs. We hate to see them, but they exist. So let me just stop the music and give credit to the tutorial maker as well. It's a pretty cool tutorial. I just need to check what's wrong in the last section because it didn't avoid the thing, but yeah. So made by Kasraf, yes. Obviously I have the beef with the tutorial, but I was joking. I was being an asshole. It is a good tutorial. The enemy actually follows the player and actually does pathfinding. So yeah. Oh, there was an upload. I don't know if it was the... No, it wasn't the Discord thing. So I now have the notifications for that. Weird. Well, anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the stream, but before I go away, yes, thank you very much for the scream. UGS.pt, don't forget our beautiful game that we are just making it, and before this, do the thing, it is on Steam. Yes, indeed. Check out our games below. We have Droian, and Droian is available for wish listing on Steam. So if you have enjoyed what we have seen so far and would like to try the game in the future, please add our game to the wish list, And if you want to know who's going to stream next week, because we are a team and we have different people working on this game, and if you want to see next week, I don't know if it's going to be a let's play of us getting inspired on other games to, implement things in this game, or if it's going, oh, it's Roxy, Balatro. Ooh, I like it. Yes, indeed. Can't wait to see that UI madness from Balatro in our game. Maybe. Hopefully. Maybe. Cryptic mood. Yes. Well, who knows? For you to know it, you can follow our socials. Links are always down below. And I hope you have enjoyed. And see you next week.